Unexpected. The last 3 episodes of Lone Star began Monday with an unplanned wedding for Marjan and Joe, who exchanged vows in a lovely ceremony that the entire family witnessed. Almost the whole family, actually. Marjan introduced Joe to her parents at the start of the exciting hour, and although they could see that Marjan and Joe were obviously in love, their lack of a plan made them uncomfortable. Blessing denied, to put it another way. Joe refused to back down, telling Marjan that he would marry her tomorrow if he could, even though she was prepared to give up and try again the next year. It might have sufficed to conclude the program with an engagement, but Natasha Karam tells TV Line, "Come on, this is Lone Star. We must always be bigger than life. It usually involves large, frightening objects, but occasionally it involves beautiful things like this." We then immediately moved on to Marjan and Joe's wedding, which was a hurried ceremony that actually required weeks of preparation. Like any wedding, Karam had a lot to do with the dress, which was the focal point of this one. She worked with the costume department of the show for weeks, sharing rough sketches and screenshots between takes. At one point, Marjan's fictitious wedding even had its own actual Pinterest board. Karam explains, "Our head of costumes, Eileen Baker, ended up helping me make a dress. Together with the assistance of some extremely skilled seamstresses, we brought my idea of a jumpsuit with an overskirt to life." Lebanese people are notorious for having elaborate weddings, and with Marjan already being so over the top, I wanted to make sure that this wedding matched her level. Karam is extremely proud of the wedding's cultural realism, down to the cake being sliced with a sword. Although, in terms of Lebanese weddings, that was actually a small sword, she admits. It's usually quite large. One of the episode's most memorable moments came at the end of the night, after the guests went their separate ways, when Marjan and Joe were left alone for the first time as husband and wife. It was super emotional, Karam says of filming the moment where Marjan removes her head covering. There were many variations of that. Some were emotional, others were ecstatic, and some were vulnerable. In the end, it was all about being seen in that way for the first time. It was vital for that scenario to feel delicate, vulnerable, safe, and intimate. The audience needed to be able to comprehend how and why this came together so fast, Karam says.